Hi Gareth, good to see you.
No problem.
First and foremost, I wanted to ask you a little bit about the logistics for this one, because it's an unusual season with the Winter World Cup, but your first England game in Malta comes 19 days after the end of the Premier League season. How difficult has that made your job, and how much has it influenced the decisions, the selections you've made?
Well, it hasn't influenced selections at all. It's, of course, a difficult season for the clubs, the players, for us. So we're always mindful of the welfare of the players, and the most difficult thing when you have a gap like that is to allow the players some time to recuperate, but also not decondition physically. So that's the balance we've got to try to find. And of course, they're, like every other country, we've got important qualification matches on the road to Germany. So we've picked as strong a squad as we can, and we're looking forward to working with the players. And I think the players always enjoy coming back together. So there's always a lot of noise around this time of year, but the reality is everybody's got the same situation, and I think we'll manage it as well as we can.
Raheem Sterling's obviously going to be a headline omission from this squad. He missed the last one as well because of injury. What's the situation there?
Well, I spoke with him a week or so ago, a general catch-up. He's not happy physically with his condition, been carrying a hamstring problem, so he really wasn't in consideration. So we didn't get to the point of whether he should be in, whether he should be out. He doesn't think he's operating at the level that he needs, and so that was the conversation I had with him.
On a more positive note, Eberici Eze gets his place back in the squad in what is an incredibly competitive part of the pitch for this England squad. So why has he got the nod?
Well, we've liked him for a long time. He was very unfortunate. I think just before the Euros, we were going to call him into a prep camp to have a look at him, and he got a bad injury. The day we were going to, I remember talking to Roy Hodgson about him then, and Roy telling me he'd picked up an injury in training that day. So I think he has finished the season really strongly. He can play in a couple of positions across that attacking line. He's a goal threat. He's got nice ability and burst of speed to go past people and to take people out of the game with dribbling skills. So yeah, we're looking forward to seeing him a bit closer, and everybody I speak to talks brilliantly about him as a person as well.
At centre-back, Lewis Dunk and Tyrone Mings come back in. In Dunk's case, it's 4 years since he last played for England, and there's been a clamour, I think, from more than just Brighton fans for him to come back in. Was it from your perspective just that those two have been playing so well for their clubs, impossible to ignore?
Yeah, absolutely. I think both clubs have been excellent. I think Unai Emery's done a brilliant job at Aston Villa. I think they're a really well-coached team. And the same with Brighton. Brighton's football this year has been exceptional. And Lewis Dunk and Levi Colwill have been a big part of that. So he's shown great composure with the ball. He's defending. He's asked to defend very often in one-against-one situations. And he thoroughly deserves his call.
I mentioned at the start this is a bit unusual because it's so far after the end of the Premier League season. You'll be aware that some commentators, maybe even some Premier League managers, are saying these are two games against, with all due respect, not the elite of world football. I'm sure you won't see it like that, and I'd expect you to say opposite. But there'll be some people saying you shouldn't pick your best players, give the younger players a chance, give the young cat players a chance. That's not your way of thinking, is it?
Well, I don't think the rest of the world will be doing that this summer. And we've played North Macedonia twice at home and never beaten them. So I think we could easily fall into the trap. To be a top team, if we want to be European champions, we've got to nail the big games like we did in March, and you've got to make sure that you nail the more complicated ones because everybody has the view that you've just given. So I think it's a good test of commitment. It's a good test of togetherness. I think this group don't want to let each other down. We want to keep progressing as a team. We have 5 opportunities to work together before a European Championship, if we can qualify for the European Championship. And we played so well in March that we've got to back that up and make sure that we're not needing to go to North Macedonia at the end of this competition, requiring a result to get through. So I think this group of players have got enough humility to recognise that and to approach the task in the way we want them to.
Thanks.
Hi, Gareth. There's a number of young England players playing well in the Premier League. The under-21s have the Euros coming up. Was that a factor in them not being in this squad? Was it more beneficial for them to join up in a tournament situation?
Well, I don't think they're quite ready to be ahead of the players that we've picked, but there's a good chance that if we had problems, they would be the next ones in. Myself and Steve Holland will go to at least a part of that tournament to watch them. I think that's important. We've got some good players in there who we like. I think it's important they recognise that, well, they can see from the decisions we've made there's a pathway here for young players. We've always done that. And yeah, we're excited about some of those players as well, definitely.